Thank you, everybody. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about internet infrastructure. This is something that is fundamentally part of the internet and the kind of very human framework, right? The domain name system, the internet powers about 5 billion people worldwide. So my name is CEO. My name is Fred Hsu, CEO, co-founder of D3. I'm going to talk a little bit today about owning and trading the internet. So some of you guys, I'm sure all of you guys have had a domain name for your personal website, your company. It's basically super hard to buy and trade, find a domain name. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the domain industry and kind of what the real world asset value is and what the potential is to bring technology to this asset class. Sam Altman made a post about a couple years ago, chat.com. Chat.com is obviously a valuable domain name. It was purchased by one of our investors for about a few $million bucks. It was flipped for 30 million bucks in stock, and now it's probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So domain names undisputably have a value. People just historically have not known how to tap the value of it, right? And I'll show you an example. This is me actually trying to reach out to buy a domain name. It's tokens.com, right? And it was me reaching out to a broker. This broker kept running the price up on me. It was just a very, very painful transaction, right? And ultimately, I bailed. I was like, fuck this. Took too long, terms of negotiations. The price kept going up on me, and they would only take fiat. Now, it's 2025, and it should not be this hard to buy a domain name. It's easier to buy real estate than a domain name. I think we've all seen this and been there before. There's no liquidity, it's slow and manual, it's opaque. All right, so I don't know if any of you purchased Web3 domains before, or Web3 names. I kind of fell into this trap 3 or 4 years ago. These are not domain names, these are our glorified wallet addresses, they're NFTs. But it's funny because if I tell you it's a domain name and people have made money off it, you'll kind of believe anything. So Web3 domains were kind of an interesting but failed experiment. They're not ICANN approved. Trust me, if you cannot visit a fred.wallet in the browser and get anything other than a 404 page. There's name collisions. I think there's like 5 different .wallet projects out there, right? And these things are not historically cross-chain compatible. It's a shit show in domain names, and that's what we're here to fix. So we all know traditional domains, like I said, power about 5 billion users, pretty much every government in the world, militaries, all humanity. It's a huge real-world asset, first digitally native asset class out there. Then in Web3, you have innovation, you have chains, you have settlement layer, you have modularity, you have chain of abstraction. Who cares? It's just a bunch of tech, right? It's a means toward an end. But you do have people becoming much more reliant on unified identities. So what if this world, you can bring more liquidity and innovation with all this chaos from Web3. And that's what we're aiming to build with DomainFi. So what is DomainFi? It's basically a DeFi layer for this domain name asset class. We are trying to grow this from a $350 billion asset class to a $2 trillion asset class, which by all measures, if I saw in the previous slide from prior presenter, if real estate is $300 trillion, I think $2 trillion for online real estate is pretty feasible, certainly over the next few years. We are representing 364 million domain names. We have some of the top registrars in the world, Namecheap, Nicknames, Encirca, Turn Commerce. These are companies that represent millions, if not tens of millions of real domain names. I'm talking like .com, .ai, .xyz stuff. And on the right side, we're working exclusively with Solana to issue the real.sol domain name. Same thing with Avalanche, .avax, same thing with .sui for Sui. So I imagine a world 3 years from now, 2 years from now, where you can buy, use, and trade a .sui, for example, just as easy as you can trade a .com. So our vision for DomainFi is bringing these two worlds together very, very gracefully. And ultimately to accelerate this whole DomainFi economy concept, right? We're here to build bridges, forget about the tech. Again, we're here to basically bridge these two worlds. We're trying to build real infrastructure people really use. We're trying to bring solutions to a real problem. not the other way around. And of course, developers. Everybody builds on the internet. They just find it hard, to be honest. We also have some great investors like Paradigm, Coinbase Ventures. And I'm here to also highlight this blockchain called DOMA. You can visit DOMA at DOMA.xyz. It's the world's first blockchain for the internet, the internet's domain name asset class. All 364 million domain names, as well as all the future ones that we'll be creating on behalf of these very large Web3 ecosystems and foundations. So super exciting from us. And again, we're going to be bridging Web 2 and Web 3. We're going to take 400 million active wallets, 10 trillion annual volume, and marry that with this $350 billion asset class. And we're the only company and the only chain doing this. So what this means, millions of new customers for Web 3 and also for Web 2. Liquidity for investors. Investors are two-way. There's token investors, of course, right, in Web 3. There's also domain name investors. I bought and sold millions of dollars of domain names over the past 25 years. I'm excited about this as a Web 2 person. Enhanced DeFi utility. Again, we all know there's 100 different perp dexes out there, right? But finally, you can start trading this real-world asset class on-chain, on DOMA. And of course, future-proofing. Everything we're doing is going to be with the collaboration of top ecosystems like Solana, like Base, like Avalanche, and all the other top chains. And of course, we're DNS compliant. There's only one internet. It's the one that works in your browser. Keep that in mind, okay? We're also here to announce that for the first time, you'll be able to perform liquid domain trading, liquid domains. Check out mizu.xyz. Mizu is a Japanese word for liquid or water. We think it's pretty cool. For the first time on the internet, you'll be able to buy a fungible token of like one of my domains. I owned a domain name called software.ai. You can now be able to trade fungible tokens and have them bond and basically be able to fund this real-world asset class. And the benefit of this real-world asset class is that domain names, they won't pump 10,000x. But guess what? They will not go down to zero. I guarantee you they will not go down to zero. And to build this multi-trillion-dollar DomainFi economy, we will need the help of top ecosystems, including Coinbase, Paradigm, Solana, Avalanche, Layer 0, and you name it. We're meeting with a lot of these partners here in Singapore as well. Again, we're here to build this whole DomainFi economy together. So whether you're a builder, a domain registrar, a marketplace, a DApp founder, a DAO infrastructure, everybody builds on the internet, and they always have. This trend will continue, and we look forward to having you guys build and utilize apps on DOMA.xyz in the very near future. Thank you.